Hello, hello. I'm Cosmic Jack. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about the full moon in Capricorn that we have on July 10th at 18 degrees of Capricorn. And I just love how the full moon in Capricorn comes around every summer to be like remember those goals and intentions that you set at the beginning of the year with the new moon? Like, where are you at with that? And it like is kind of like a Debbie Downer in the middle of your summer plans, being like, time to get serious, time to check in. It's bringing you back down to earth. It's grounding your ass, like, back to your job and your work ethic and like your goals, and is being like, come on, like we gotta get serious again. And you owe it to yourself to give yourself everything you want. And if you're not taking the responsibility and the accountability to do that, this like full moon in Capricorn is like your ass is grass. Not really, but it's like come on, like you gotta like recommit and recenter yourself with like your goals, your dreams, your desires, your success. And so it's always kind of this like summer gut check. And it's like I always find that things can kind of, this could also just be how it lays in my chart, that things get kind of real around the full moon in Capricorn. Like that is Capricorn. Like Capricorns are real, they're honest, they're accountable, they're responsible. And so like shit gets real with Capricorn, right? And so we had this new moon in Capricorn December 30th at 9 degrees of Capricorn. So like right before the new year, we had this new moon. So zoom back to who you were, what your goals were, what your intentions are, what you aspired to do, who you aspired to be, right? At the beginning of the year. And excuse me. It's interesting because I feel kind of like called to share like vulnerably some of the things that I've been going through. I have had to have really real conversations with myself in the last like few weeks about what's working and what's not working. And because my friend said this to me, she was like, God's not gonna let you pop off when you're out of alignment. And I'm like, yeah, that's so fucking facts. And so like God's not gonna reward you for like playing small, right? Like, because God knows how capable you are and the potential that you have. And one of the things about your current life and your current reality is like it's where you're comfortable, right? It's like your comfort zone. And where you're at isn't a result of your capability, it's not a result of your worth. It is not a result of like anything that you might make it mean about yourself. Where you're at right now is literally just a result of your patterning. And your patterning is what you learned to do to like what you thought you needed to do to like survive the circumstance. And so it's just your most natural conditioned way of being, of relating, of operating. And so if you want to go bigger, if you want more success, more fulfillment, it's really about working with this Cancer Capricorn axis. Because Cancer is your comfort zone, Capricorn is your success. And the Cancer energy is important because it's the thing that keeps you in alignment with your heart, right? And it's like, it's about your openness. Your heart is the key to receiving. And so the Cancer is important, but blocked Cancer keeps you in your comfort zone. Confirmation. And so if you're not getting results in your life, where are you too comfortable? And and Capricorn is about like having the responsibility and the authority to give yourself everything that you want and really owning your power and your potential. And so, I have had to get really real with myself about like where I'm playing small, where I'm not living up to my potential, where I'm not taking more responsibility to get what I want, and really not living life as large as I could be, you know? Because I didn't like, I came out of the womb being like, I came here to like fuck shit up, right? Like I didn't come here to like play into the matrix. Like I've always done this for like from such a young age. Like I didn't come here to work a 9 to 5 and like buy a house. Like that to me, like, I mean, my Sagittarius energy, I was like, that is like boring, boring. Like, but it's like one of the things my friend said to me, she was like, don't be so free in your life that you're not getting big results. And I was like, fuck me up. It's like so obvious, right? But she's like, don't be like so like, you know, in the flow that you're not getting yourself massive results. And, you know, I'm here to have big impact. I'm here to, you know, serve and share my heart. And like, that's really like what, when I look at my life, like, I just like want to have like exploded my heart all over everyone and everything. Like, as I know my heart and my energy like makes everything that I touch better, and everyone that like experiences my energy, like, you know, it's addicting. We've got that addicted energy. We've got that je ne sais quoi, right? We got that magnetic energy. And what happens when you're magnetic energy? It's like that light like lights in other people, right? It's like that infectious. That's the whole point of like women being in their hearts, right? Because it's like people are always going to be like leave the room better because of your energy. And so I'm like, well, if I'm playing it small, I'm actually doing a big disservice to other people because I'm keeping my heart and my expression from them. So they're not actually benefiting. No one's benefiting from me playing small, right? And like as much as I have like a high standard and level of living, I was really like having to be honest with myself about like where I'm still playing it small in my business. And you know, not really going bigger and setting the bigger goals for myself. And so for me, like, I have a 12th house Capricorn stellium. Like, Capricorn is the hardest thing for me. I will say Capricorn and Taurus, because I'm all air, I'm all fire. So like for me, coming on here and like talking and like, you know, sharing my heart, like that's easy for me, right? It's like my expression, like that's piece of cake, right? Because that's just my chart. However, that 12th house Capricorn stellium, it's like that is like the weak part of my chart. So it's like developing that has been really uncomfortable and really challenging for me to actually like embody the business and like open myself up to like new levels of support and responsibilities and commitment and like disciplines and stuff like that, because you have to develop so many fucking skills to run a business, and you have to get yourself so fucking uncomfortable so often in running a business. And it's not that I can't work hard or I don't have the discipline or like the responsibilities, but it was like I was like playing it safe, you know? And so, you know, this is the importance of also having people around you who have been where you are, who can uphold you to a certain standard, who can reflect back to your blind spots. Because I literally spent like the 4th of July, like on a 5-hour call with my friend who has a successful business, and we were like just going over each other's like brands and our business and like where we're at and like our goals and like where we're going and like how we can like kick ass the next 6 months of the year, because I was like, I'm not living up to my fucking standard and potential, and like nothing short of like greatness is like ever going to satisfy me. And so like I came here to, again, like be big. I came here to fucking take up space. Like, there's no doubt in my mind about that. But I was like, okay, well then I have to get honest with myself about like where I'm not upholding my end of the bargain, because God's not letting me pop off yet, because there's still some things that like I need to own within myself and within my business and like recommit to. Because for me, like, and I think a lot of light workers and spiritual people can like relate and resonate with this, but like for me, the 3D shit is the hard shit. Like for me, being like, I can't explain how hard it was for me to ground into my body. Like it took me 7 years to actually ground into my body. It's like you're putting a cloud in containment. Like, do you know how hard it is to like capture a cloud? Like every time you touch it, it like shape shifts, you know? So it's like you're putting like cloud and lightning like in a physical body. It was really challenging. And so, but for me, like, there's no, like, what's the point of like having all of these galactic codes and like the ability to channel and like uplift the consciousness and shift the collective consciousness if you can't like build something in the 3D. And that's really what we're here to do as light workers, is build in the 3D, because when there are people who are enlightened and awakening, like breaking the matrix, it's like you can't discount your role of like how much your heart and your light like impacts people. Like that, like there's I forget, I think I said this in one of my most recent YouTube videos. It's like one person living in their heart can like influence like 700,000 people or something like that. We'll just pretend that that's the number, but it's a big number, right? 7 is the magic number, right? We have like 7 chakras, 7 hermetic principles. 7 is a very spiritual number. So your heart is that powerful. And so you are here to like just shoot fireworks out of your fucking heart, because that is actually how you make impact. But you also have to be grounded in the 3D so that you can get results, right? That goes back to like, don't be so fucking free that you're not getting results, because you're actually doing yourself a disservice when you're not like grounded in the 3D and the support systems, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to live in the 3D reality. And if you don't actually feel supported, you can't be like in your mission. And so you actually have to open your heart up to more support, you know, because one of the things about being a feminine woman is asking for support, being unabashed and asking for support. But so many people have been so conditioned to do for others and people please and have no boundaries and overgive and, you know, override their own emotional needs and put themselves last. And it's like you're actually doing yourself the biggest disservice by not allowing yourself to receive the support. And a lot of this goes back to like wounds with the masculine. But the masculine is God's source universe. And there's multiple sides of it, right? Like the feminine side and the masculine side, but it's like God wants to support you, right? And God will work through other people to support you. You just have to open your heart and be grateful to receive the support. And like for me, like when I have asked people in my life to support me, I'm like blown away by the level of support that I can receive. And it's almost like confronting for my body to receive that much support, but it's like, no, like this is like you are capable of receiving so much fucking support. And support really is the fucking life hack, because you can just get there so much fucking quicker with support. And so do yourself a service and ask for support, because it's like the energy of like one Clydesdale. So I don't know why this is what's going through. One Clydesdale can only pull 5,000 pounds, but 2 Clydesdales can carry like 20. And it's like, that's the energy. Again, I'm making that number up, but it's like 2 Clydesdales can carry like twice as much, right? And that's the power of support. And so that's really what Capricorn represents. It's like you actually need to be responsible enough to get yourself the support to like get what you want, and because you have to give yourself everything that you want. And I did a reel on this actually, but it's like think about support as like a building, right? Like the people who are already on the top floor can help you so much quicker than like the people that are around you on your current floor. And it's like, why don't you just go learn from the people who have already normalized your standards so that you can just like life hack your way up there. And that's really the power of support. That's what people who have expansive consciousness understand. And so this full moon in Capricorn is like, where are you at with the things that you promised yourself, right? You promised yourself you were gonna do these things this year. And so who do you gotta hire? What do you gotta master? What skills do you need to develop? What new responsibilities do you need to take ownership of? Where do you need to assert your power more? And then also, maybe be more coachable, but like all of the best people like on earth have coaches, have people who support them. They all have huge teams, right? Like I used to work in tennis, like professional tennis players have like 6 teams on their 6 people on their teams to support them, right? So you can get so much further faster with support. And one of the things too with Capricorn is the flip side is Cancer, right? So to go back to that Cancer energy, The number one thing that I see people blocking them from not getting what they want is their emotions. And Capricorn has emotional capacity. And it is about not being so fucking wobbled and wavered by your emotions and like being able to like stick to the task and not letting it like deter you off, right? So many women, this is like what breaks my heart the most, right? If you are so used to having to fight to get your needs met, or fight to have attention, or fight to receive love, or your needs just like weren't met as a child, or you had to like adapt yourself internally to like make sure that you weren't abandoned or that you could survive. Learning emotional control and developing new solid emotional foundations is the single greatest skill I think everyone on the planet could develop. Capricorn is about being an adult. Cancer is the inner child. So you literally have to reparent your inner child to have the results and the standard of living that you want, right? I cannot tell you how much emotional development work I've had to do in business, because your business is going to just mirror you back to yourself. And if you do not have emotional control, emotional foundations, like emotional capacity, it's like you literally can't run a business. You literally are going to sabotage your goals. You're literally going to sabotage your support. And so we have a bunch of adults running around cosplaying as adults, but really they're just like wounded inner children, right? And when you can develop an awareness, you just like see these people's patternings like so fucking quick. But your emotions and your comfort zones will like just keep you in the cycle of not getting you what you want. And so the single greatest skill you could ever develop for yourself is learning your moon sign, where Cancer is in your chart, so that you know how to self-soothe and love on yourself and nurture yourself in the process of expansion, because your greatness will require you to get uncomfortable. No one achieved anything great without getting massively fucking uncomfortable, and no one achieved anything great without massive support. And so, I think emotional control is the single thing that I want all women to develop, because there's so many empowered women. Do you know how many fucking successful like millionaire women I work with who are so fucking successful and they kill it in the fucking business world, but when they get into a relationship, they literally have no relational skills because they're not the same freaking skills. And the thing that makes you high value as a woman is your heart and your energy and your emotional fucking control. And so it's like, how much of your reality is just a survival pattern and how much of your reality is just conditioned from your patterning. And if you want to break your patterning, like if you're not fully satisfied with the level of living, you have to get uncomfortable, you have to look at your moon, and you have to stretch your capacity. Because your nervous system, confirmation, will do everything possible to block your quantum leap. Your nervous system will do everything possible to get you to stay in your comfort zone. Your nervous system will do everything possible to keep you like distracted, to keep you avoidant, to keep you from growing your edges, from taking on more responsibility, to stepping into your power, to claiming your authority, to going on a date. And your nervous system will also sabotage you. Like if you don't know how the nervous system works and you go to like get into a relationship with a masculine man for the first time, because when you do the healing work is you're going to attract a different energy. And then you do the work to attract a different energy, but you don't know how like to keep yourself from self-sabotaging when that relationship lands, because you didn't develop the capacity or the emotional control to not sabotage when you get into that relationship, because you're so goddamn reactive. You can't be so reactive to your 3D reality. Like that's really where the power and the fucking flex is like zooming out and having the space, giving yourself the space to not be so reactive and not let your 3D results determine and dictate how you feel inside, because your feelings are the fucking key. Your emotions are the fucking key. And they're either helping you get what you want or they're sabotaging you from getting what you want. And so you got to understand and learn your emotions and your moon sign. Like, if I could just scream that from the top of the hill, like, understand your moon. Because your moon is how you make yourself feel safe, secure, satiated, supported, satisfied. And when you are quantum stretching, when you're quantum leaping, when you're going bigger, when you're claiming you want a higher standard, you are going to brush up against your subconscious. You are going to brush up against your patterns. You are going to spiral out internally. You are going to get in your head. Your ego is going to be like, make excuses. Your ego is going to be like, no, we're going to just not do that. Your mind and your subconscious and your ego are always looking for ways to sabotage you. Always. Always. Like, I look back in the last year and I'm like, oh my God, like, I sabotaged here, I sabotaged here, I sabotaged here. And I'm very fucking self-aware. And I'm just like, it's like I wasted so much time on that thing because I was sabotaging and my ego was like convincing me this was the right thing. And it's like, if I had the proper support and the proper reflections, I probably could have saved myself the sabotage, right? And so knowing how to safely expand and stretch your edges and ask for more and claim for more and keep your heart open, your energy open in the process of expansion is the fucking key, is the fucking flex to quantum leaping. You have to have such a level of self-mastery to achieve Capricorn, because Capricorn is the top of the chart. It is the overarching success, right? It is your goals. It is your highest achievement. It is your most public-facing persona. And the support of Cancer is what gets you there at the bottom of the chart. It's your most public-facing self and your most private self. So it's like who you are home alone at midnight helps you or hurts you achieve your goals, right? And so on the flip side, though, you have to have a big enough why in your heart to achieve the success, right? Because if you don't have a big why, when you have to develop grit and hard work and like when it's like the building is not fucking fun, you have to go back to that strong why and that strong desire in your heart. That's why Cancer is about the family. Because when you have a strong why, like your family or whatever is in your heart, service, impact, influence, just self-fulfillment, personal fulfillment, but usually it has to be larger than life in itself, because after Capricorn is Aquarius, and Aquarius is about your impact on society as a whole. You can inflate, right? So like when you have a strong enough why, you can endure the how. I think I talked about this in one of my other videos, but like Jeremy Renner, who was a Capricorn, he like, all of his bones in his body got crushed by a snowmobile. And he literally healed himself in like 3 months. And when the people asked him, like, how did you heal yourself so quickly? And he was like, the motivation of my family. He was like, I was just so motivated to be there for my family. My family needs me. I have like such chills. And I'm like, that's a fucking aligned Capricorn. Because you have to have a heart-centered why. And your heart has to be open, right, to receive the support and the love and the abundance that you crack yourself open to when you have a strong enough mission. And that's on the flip side why people have all the success, but they're not happy and they're not satisfied, because they weren't connected to their heart, right? And so full moon in Capricorn, what is the why? What is the heart's desire? And what do you gotta take responsibility for to achieve it? Where do you need to raise your standards? Where do you have to be honest with your heart? Where do you have to be honest with your inner child? Connect to that inner child. Cancer is the inner child. What did your inner child desire to do? Who did she desire to be? Because she had no limitations, right? Kids are so wide open. I learned so much from watching kids. They're not restricted and limited. Go watch my last video, the next 6 months. I was talking about what I learned about kids at a birthday party. I was like, they're just like so not limited by like the 3D things that we as adults are. And so really check in with that at your heart and what your heart wants, and then be honest and responsible with yourself about if you're doing enough to achieve that, to receive that. Because you have to be responsible enough to give yourself what you want. You owe it to your inner child. And be accountable for the potential that you're here to live out. You know, the full moon is conjunct this Saturn and Pluto conjunction that we had in January 2020. Saturn and Pluto were conjunct at 20 degrees of Capricorn in January 2020. And this was really the start of destruction as we knew it. We know it, right? And so think about, I mean, I can't believe it's been 5.5 years, but think about who you were January 2020 and where you are now, and what's deconstructed, what's been reconstructed, who have you become, what are you more accountable for? Because that was the beginning of like the destruction of the old world, right? Capricorn is like society, its rules, regulations, responsibilities. And so we saw really the collapse of society begin January 2020. I mean, that January was fucking wild. That was the end of my former life, January 2020. I was in Australia that whole month working in tennis. Literally came back to New York and then went. I remember to a T, December 2019, Spirit said to me in my fucking ear, "You're not going to be living in New York very much longer. You're not going to be in this apartment very much longer." And I was like, yeah, right. Literally, I only was in the apartment like one more week after they told me that. Legit. And my life just imploded after that, right? The life that I knew. I went from like traveling the world 6 months of the year, having a bomb-ass job, living by myself in New York, living larger than life, to like living at home with my parents. And life crumbled. My life crumbled, right? But I would never have started this business. I never would have like stepped into this mission. Never would have moved to Miami. You know, I built a completely different life centered around, you know, spirituality and my mission. And so check back to who you were January 2020 and where you are now. And if you're doing enough to build this like new, almost like escape the matrix reality, but like this like more in tune with your chart. You know, it's funny, like I put my birth chart into ChatGPT yesterday, and I was like, build me a business plan based on my birth chart. And I swear to fucking God, it was like everything that I do to a T. It even like said like the feminine frequency. And I was like, oh my God, it literally named one of my fucking containers. Like, I was like, well, we know we're in alignment now. We're in alignment, we're good. And now we just get to take it bigger and bolder, right? My fucking Sagittarius, Venus, and like 9th house stellium. My yearbook quote was go big or go home. Like, we're here to like fuck shit up and live life out loud, right? I have like a friend at the gym, and he's like, I like just knew he was a fucking Sagittarius, because like you hear him before you see him, and I'm like, that's a fucking Sagittarius. And it's like, that's Sagittarius comes before Capricorn, right? It's like when you are living largely, when you are expressing who you are like, that is what helps you achieve your success, right? When you are speaking on things, when you are sharing your knowledge, when you are going out and experiencing the world, when you are sharing your heart, when you are living boldly, taking up space, that is what literally helps you achieve the success. Because Capricorn follows Sagittarius. So we can take it from the Sagittarius energy. When you are not afraid to be confident and just larger than life, like that is what helps you achieve success. So big full moon. This full moon is trine Mars in Virgo. Mars in Virgo is the workhorse. Mars in Virgo is going to help you develop the skill set that you need to be successful. I always say Virgo, the habits, routines, disciplines, behaviors of Virgo, of your 6th house, help you achieve the success of your 10th of Capricorn. And so literally, like, who you are, who you be, your behaviors, who you be is what you have on the day-to-day, day and out life helps you achieve your success. And so what do you got to do differently in your day-to-day? What skills do you have to develop? What routines do you need to implement? what structures do you need to have, right? And it's about putting a plan in place and developing that structure to support you, because structure is support and it is going to give you more freedom. That's what I had to tell my Sagittarius energy. I'm like, no, the structure is supportive. It's actually going to give you more freedom. It's not going to contain you. So my Sagittarius energy is like, no, commitment is like, ah! And it's like, no, the structure is supportive. You actually get more freedom when you're more disciplined and when you're more structured and when you're more responsible. So what do you need to recommit to? Saturn is commitment. Saturn is daddy. Saturn is like, I'm going to give you all of the allowance, everything that you want, but you have to do the work. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. Saturn actually stations retrograde in Aries right after this full moon. So Saturn in Aries is all about your identity development. Are you independent in your identity, right? Who do you say that you are, and are you living in alignment and in accordance with that? Are you hearing to that version of you that you say you want to be? And Aries is about the confidence and the courage to just go and to move, to be independent. And again, I'm going to go back because I am re-listening to 10X is Easier Than 2X right now, which is a book I recommend, especially if you're an entrepreneur. But it's like we all want the confidence and capabilities before we start. And he's like, no, you just need courage. You just need the courage and you need the commitment. And that's what this full moon is like really about. It's like you actually just need the courage and the commitment, and then you'll develop the confidence and the capabilities in the doing. And then that Mars in Virgo is like, let's just develop some fucking skills. So if you want to raise your standards of your life, of your living, I'm hosting a 10-week container really helping you step into your identity, embody your womanhood, and develop these emotional control foundations within you so that you can be in alignment with the high-valued version of yourself now. And we're really going to go deep into this work of you stepping into your authenticity within your birth chart. So that's going to start next week. I'm super pumped. I'm super excited. Really helping women like step into who they are in all areas of your life, not just in success, like in your career and your success, but in relationship, in your creativity, in your friendships, in your spirituality, like all of the different buckets of your life. So I'll post the show notes, the link for that in the show notes. You can also book a one-on-one session. I'm also enrolling in my one-on-one mentorship and coaching. But go big, baby. It's a time to go big, and you owe it to yourself to give yourself everything that you want. So get yourself support and make it a lot faster and easier and less stressful. All my love. Happy full moon.